Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the Court of Edijester, everybody. How are we? What a tremendous day it was yesterday. And as you can see, we're starting with this. But before we begin, I just wet myself. Become a warrior teacher, subscribe, put your notifications on, join my Substack, but become a warrior teacher. That's the most important thing, starting in November. Well, this is utterly glorious, and I was just on the floor with laughter. I couldn't control myself because it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And there's a video going around of it, obviously. So first thing we'll do is, let's take a look at the video that caused the kerfuffle.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
It gets funnier the more I watch it. Release the sausages. And as you can see, that particular bit of news was picked up by the Sky News and everyone else in the media. Prime Minister mistakenly calls return of the sausages in Gaza during Labour conference in Liverpool. So Keir Starmer corrected himself to hostages after making the mistake while speaking at the Labour Party conference in Liverpool. So he is human after all. Now, obviously, it's pure gold for social media. And this is just one of the topics for today. I've got three. So some things for you to think about today. I thought we'd have a few bits and bobs. A bit of a roundup, as they say, a bit of a roundup. So this, of course, we've now got the memes have started. Right, so have a look at this. This is the return of the sausages, obviously, as you can see there, which I thought was rather brilliant. And this particular one, which tickled me, came from Alex Armstrong. Look at that. Free the sausages. It's just priceless. It's the fact that it's a 1950s kitchen that makes me laugh. It's just absolutely priceless. So is there any mistakes that this absolutely inept Labour government haven't made yet? I mean, it just makes them look so bad, doesn't it? I mean, as if it's possible to make them look any worse than they already are. But it seems to be doing so. And it's a good belly laugh. So please do enjoy it. Let's watch it again. Here you are, just once more.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
There you go. See? Hysterical. All right, enough. Now, let's get a bit more serious, because actually there is some news which I think is quite big news in regards to puberty blockers and America. I was alerted to this on the Twitters. Oh, there's one more about Starmer there before we go. Demands return of the Express. It's having a go. But on Twitter, there's a Roger Severino, who you can see there. There's Roger. Big news. Coalition of 22 attorneys general, led by Royal Labrador 4ID, threatened fraud enforcement against American Academy of Pediatrics for lying about puberty blockers being reversible. When it comes to treating children diagnosed with gender dysphoria, the AAP has abandoned its commitment to sound medical judgment. That's the quote. At AmerAcad Peds, the American Academy of Pediatrics really thought it could get away with misleading and bullying thousands of parents into destroying kids' normal sexual function based on a demonstrably harmful woke ideology. They are about to find out how wrong they were. Now, do not underestimate the enormity of this. If this goes, attorneys general are serious people. If this goes through and they do go for a fraud enforcement, which I think would be the best way to do it, because these people are frauds, lying about this trans nonsense, then that would be a massive win in America from that perspective, and would certainly lead to an about face by many organisations, and certainly the ability of people who've been caught up in this particularly woke cult to be able to take action against them. So please don't underestimate this. Go and read the letter. I'll put all the links are in the doobers as usual. And as you can see there on the screen, he's actually got screenshots of the letter, so you can have a look. I suggest that you do, because this is really good news. And oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Right, so it's all that sort of stuff. Come on, America the Great. So the Americans there may see a huge leap forward, which will be a great relief to many people. And we might actually see some of these people brought to book for what they've done to children and to parents. As they say there in the comment, they've been misleading and bullying thousands of parents into destroying kids' normal sexual function. They have to be held to account. They have to be brought to trial. I'd like to see that happen across the Western world. I'm sure you would too. So we've had sausages. Sausages. Anybody remember the dog? Sausages from That's Life. We've had queer armor, right, with his sausages. We've then got this, which is a great piece of news from the USA. So that's on the USA scale. And then we've got something on a global scale that you should have a look at. Now, the trouble with a lot of this stuff is once we start going down the rabbit hole, it does tend to feel a bit like a conspiracy theory. People have said this to me before, but I originally, years ago when I got started on this, I did an article on the ESG goals that were coming from the UN and the like. And I've always thought that they were a threat, despite them coming from a good place, because when you put something in place, you've got no way of knowing what the outcome's going to be. And it's unlikely to be on this scale, the outcome that you want. So this is about global stuff. And this has come up on my timeline here from somebody called My Hidden Value, Not a Number, the Pact of the Future Government. I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. And apparently it's been accepted by 103 nations. And there's a video there by a lady I'm unfamiliar with, but you can have a look at. Essentially, what's happening is they are going to enforce these goals on a global scale. They'll have to enforce them because there's no other way of doing it. And they are, in essence, worrying to me in one particular part, which is the part where they say about involving youth in all the decisions about the world going forward. There's a reason we don't involve youth. They don't know what they're talking about. So this is about what you see. If you involve the youth, you crush the meritocracy. So this is a meritocracy crushing idea. In addition to that, it also mentions digital IDs and enforcement of things such as that, but it mixes it up with some good stuff as well. So